this like anatomy reason for her to be like, well, you have to drop out because of.
I ain't never seen this dude make that face, bruh. What does someone have to say for this to be the face you make, bro? Hey, how's it going? Welcome to the Sunny Side. The video today is me a part of a series. I want to be reacting to the Am I the Asshole post that Smosh makes every single week. And I'm going to have it posted with my reaction. Hopefully this is going to make you laugh every single week. I'm going to have it posted every Sunday. And I'm going to be reacting to it on my Twitch. And the link for that is me in the description. So without further ado, let's get into it.
Hi, welcome back to Reddit Stories.
Hello.
I'm Shane.
Hi.
Today's theme, it's all about school,
All
man.
about school.
Stories, back to school.
Back to school.
Different kinds of schools.
Yo.
And I'm joined today with two people who I think went to school, Arasha and Tommy. First one comes from Am I the Asshole? Am I the asshole for snitching and causing my friend to lose her scholarship / dream college acceptance?
Off rip asshole. Off rip asshole, bro. If this happened to you, you'd fucking destroy them. I'd be so pissed off if this happened to me, bro. But what did they cheat on? Let's see. Hold on. We're jumping the gun.
I don't see how you couldn't be.
Yeah, probably.
So let's see. Let's
No,
see.
it might
let's
be
see.
her fault. It might be her fault.
Yeah. All right, so we have a snitch, but what did this friend do?
Okay.
I, a 19-year-old woman, am a sophomore in college and have a friend, Tia, who's an 18-year-old woman, who is in high school and applying for colleges and scholarships. I helped her throughout the college process, and she ended up getting an early action to her top college. And she got a full scholarship. I was happy for her until recently. I was talking to a mutual friend of ours, and she started gushing about how Tia's essay was so heartfelt and beautiful. I asked to see it because I thought she had just forgotten to show me. She showed me many of her essay drafts. But as
Prediction? The friend used her life story because her life story is more sad than her own as a way to get sympathy to actually get the scholarships. That's my guess.
I was reading it, I was completely taken aback. The essay was one of my college essay drafts, which I'd shown to Tia for reference on writing techniques only. I
Yo,
made this
come
clear.
on.
I was livid. The essay was really personal, and she barely even tweaked it up. It was almost entirely copy and pasted. I trusted her with it, and this is what she did. In a fit of rage, I gathered all the evidence of me helping her with the college process, including evidence of me sending the specific essay to her, and I showed it to the school. She not only lost her scholarship, but she has also lost her seat in the school. Now people are calling me dramatic and shaming me for robbing her of her education. She's the only person in her family to get into college and receive an academic and athletic scholarship, so everyone was rooting for her, including me at one time. And while I didn't expect the outcome to
Wait, is this sister or friend? Oh, she's the only one in her family. Okay, wow.
be so severe, it was. Right now, I feel bad. I feel terrible. I feel like she took advantage of me, but I didn't want to be the cause of something so horrible. I did myself a justice, but at the cost of someone's dreams. Now I'm wondering if what I did was justified or not. Am I the asshole?
Whoa.
Whew.
Okay, this I feel like is so great in that it actually is like somewhat of a dilemma.
It is a little.
I will say there's been times in high school where I plagiarized and my friends have plagiarized off me, and there's been different times like that. But when I got caught, it was in high school. My friends got caught, it was in high school. You know what I'm saying? It's better to learn about the woes of plagiarism at a younger age because it's not in your permanent record. If your friend was like 2 or 3 years down into her diplomacy and then she got fucking caught out for it, it would be a lot harder on her. So for her to be in the beginning process of her currently trying to get into a grad school or whatever, I think you did her a favor by teaching her that lesson before it's something that could stamp on her record. That's what I believe.
A little dilemma.
Yeah. I'll just say right off the bat,
Dilemma.
I'm not surprised by the verdict. The verdict is not the asshole.
Yeah.
You know, OP didn't know what was going to happen. I mean,
Wait, if was the original poster also trying to get in that college? She was okay. Then I don't get it. I don't know. It is scummy. I don't think throwing someone's livelihood away is like the route to take.
a couple comments. Yikes, this may not end up being popular, but not the asshole. If Tia really copied your story, then that would be plagiarism and is a dishonest way of getting into college. It sucks she lost her acceptance and full ride, but she didn't really earn it in the first place if she cheated to get in. Someone else said, not the asshole, she wasn't actually accepted. The university thought they were accepting a different person. Lastly, someone said, not the asshole, she was accepted under false pretenses and she got exactly what she deserved. You didn't do this to her, she did it to herself. I mean, that's all true. I guess, once again, what's bouncing in my head is colleges accept people not based on their merit so much of the time.
Yeah.
Like,
Part of the reason I want to make this video is because a lot of these Reddit comments are so by the book. They're so fucking, you did this wrong, this is what's gonna happen. Like, it's literally so, like it's so one-dimensional. Like, every single person there didn't think of the other side. There was no devil's advocacy. There was nothing like that. It was all just this, so this. Like, it's so goody two-shoes. I feel like everything about the human nature is a gray area. So that's why I wanted to make these videos, because sometimes I watch them and I'm like, why is this so fucking, like, goody two-shoes, man?
all right, next story. This comes from Relationship Advice.
Okay.
My lecturer hired me as a naked maid and is uncomfortable now, but I need him to get over it.
This is just like the first story.
This-
What is that?
Come on, Bailey, we gotta pick different types of stories.
I'm a female in my early 20s, and he is at least mid-30s.
What the fuck is
I
that?
work for a cleaning service that offers nude or lingerie-clad maid service. There is no sex or touching, and if boundaries get crossed, then the client is struck from the client list. The client can ask for a type, example like hair color, race, weight, age, gender, but they cannot pick a specific maid. Their maid is assigned by the company. Both client and maid have the option of using
This is a
fake name
thing?
and pick.
This is something that someone offers? How can you mix a dirty ass room with a sexual, like, what? You are portraying a sexual fantasy and providing a service that is specifically just the unsexiest part of that fantasy? You're in lingerie, but then you're on your hands and knees scrubbing like the floor, like, what the fuck? What are you talking about?
Pictures of either party are not provided. Any institutions the clients and maids are linked to, school or work, are also noted so something exactly like this doesn't happen. All of this is done for confidentiality. Clients can request after the first session that the same maid comes back, but that's it. I'm explaining this to show that it is impossible for him to have requested me or known it was me beforehand. I got a message from the company saying a nearby and anonymous client had requested a lingerie-clad maid and I was his type. I went in, jeans and a t-shirt with the lingerie underneath so he didn't see anything, knocked on the door, and my lecturer opened it. I realized what had happened and said that the agency typically filters these things out. Clearly there was an error, and I can stay and be professional or I can get him another maid, but whichever he chooses, we should both just forget this. He asked for another maid, so I called the office, explained, and left. The office says due to computer/human error, no one clocked that we are linked with the same school. I had to go into school a few days ago, along with some other classmates, and we ran into him. He was awkward, uncomfortable, wouldn't look me in the eye, and refused to even directly address me. We ran into him again later that day, and it was the same, if not worse that time. We also had some classes at the end of last academic year after the mix-up where I ended up at his place, and I was similarly ignored, though I attributed this at the time to the online format of the classes. This would just be one of those things, except I have classes with him all next year, as well as private meetings with him to discuss my studies. These have to be done with him, are compulsory, and can affect my grade. While I know that I can act professionally, I am concerned that he cannot, as it has been several months and he has still not passed it. I am putting a lot of time and money into this, and if this is indicative of how he will act for the remainder of it, I feel I will not get what I paid for and that my grades will suffer. I do not know how best to progress. I cannot afford to let my grade come to harm, but talking to him might make things even worse. Any advice? Damn.
Wow.
Wow.
I mean,
Professional queen.
super professional. And she showed up and he was like, oh, I'll request a different person. It's just like,
Professional.
Yeah, that the weirdest part is to take it beyond that. He's really just treating her differently for just learning what her profession is. There was no level of like the physical didn't change. He still can see her as a student. just him knowing that she works that job shouldn't change anything. But maybe he feels that that boundary has crossed, because like when you're looking for a service like that, it's naturally a very like not scary but embarrassing. It's a little embarrassing to want a service like that. So I can see where he's coming from, because when you are portraying yourself in front of your students, you want to be portrayed as professional. So then when that barrier gets taken down, that's when it can become an issue. And I think this guy's making it an issue way greater than it needs to be.
Okay.
You guys can move on from this.
Yeah. I don't feel like talking about it would make it worse either.
Right.
And it's like
Especially if it's just like, hey, we know that happened.
Right.
I'm your kid. I'm your kid.
I would see why that's bad.
It's been months and like it's fine. Like
Yeah.
maybe he's married and he's worried about, but probably not. Like
So they just clean the home
I've never seen
naked
this.
or
Yeah,
in
so
lingerie.
yeah. I never used it myself, but
And the guy's on the couch like,
Oh.
it's awful.
I've
But
never
also they could
used
kill
it.
one,
My
like, two birds
friend
with
my
one
friend
stone.
used
He could
it.
talk about the lesson plan while she like,
That's so true.
you know.
a couple comments here. I definitely would not bring this up to anyone unless you absolutely have to, or if he's done something you think is wrong. It sounds like you know he did nothing wrong. He's obviously very scared you will say something and that he could lose his job. I would definitely try to talk to him first if you're comfortable with that, just to reassure him that he's okay. Someone else said, I hope he doesn't think less of you. He might just be very embarrassed. OP responded, I also hope he doesn't think less of me, but in my experience, people often do. It isn't sex work, but it carries all of the stigma of that, and people have judged and insulted me over this before now, which is why I've been keeping it to myself. I hope this is just embarrassment on his part, but I still need him to get over it for the sake of my grade. Someone else said, how can you act like he's in the wrong? You have a tremendous deal of power over him and could easily get him fired if you wanted to. Just continue on with the class, pass it, and move on like a normal person. OP said, I don't think he's in the wrong. All he did was hire a maid. My only concern with him is that he's ignoring me, which could impact my studies, as a significant amount of the rest of my degree relies on him interacting with me, which he is not doing. I can't pass his course without participating in class and having private meetings with him, and I can't do either of those if he is ignoring me.
Oh, I love
Yeah.
her.
Yeah,
Yeah, I don't see how he can get fired, because they're both adults. Do you guys know if there's like a professor and student like agreement of some sort? Because like I don't know if that's a thing.
Where he lives?
she's great.
That's true. I think I see where the conversation could be awkward or in her eyes like make it worse. But I think she has, it sounds like the cadence to be able to hold that conversation and say like, hey, nobody did anything wrong.
Yeah.
Let's move forward and stop being weird.
I definitely don't think she should ever be in trouble for what she's doing at
No.
all. And I guess my question is, can he be fired for this?
I don't think
I
so.
don't think so.
I don't know anything about, I mean, depending on the state or whatever, but I wouldn't think
Good question.
so. This is a legal business
Yeah.
that she's part of.
And they took all the necessary
Yeah,
steps
then
to
nothing
avoid
happened.
the misunderstanding or whatever happened in this system.
Yeah. Update.
Uh-oh.
Wait.
He joined.
He joined,
job.
he's now a naked
We have a new
maid.
maid. How's it going?
Yeah, and he teaches on the job.
Hey.
We pitched this already.
All right, here's the update.
Oh, he was fired.
Oh no.
He reported me.
What?
I
What?
booked a meeting. I know. I booked a meeting with him during office hours so I could clear the air, as was suggested on my last post, and then followed it up with an email that simply said that as school is starting up again and its final year, I'd like a chance to meet with him to talk about my dissertation and make sure he approved of the topic before I launched into it, something that is completely standard and everyone else is doing, but was somehow enough to panic him. The maid service I work for also offers completely clothed maids, so from what I can gather, he's gone to the university saying he paid for a fully clothed maid and only went through this service because of their extensive vetting. But when I showed up, I offered to do it naked in exchange for extra help on my dissertation. He said no. Obviously, this is bullshit, and I got the recording of the phone call I had with work and gave it to the university, which was enough to stop the investigation, but I couldn't get his payment records to prove he paid for lingerie due to the anonymous payment system. Any more than that would require a legal case, which I can't afford, and even if I did manage to stay here, I would still have to be in his classes as they are mandatory. At the same time, my university has basically said that they can't put me in his classes after this because I have essentially been accused of sexually harassing him. He must have reported me the second I sent in my meeting request because I got the email from the person dealing with this literally less than a week later. I have no clue what the he's thinking. I'm assuming he thought I would report him and decided to get ahead of it, but even that makes no sense at all as all I did was request a meeting. Whatever his logic, I am dropping out. I am 1 year off completing my degree, so I've submitted some inquiries about transferring to nearby universities. But because this has happened right at the start of a new school year, it's going to be 10 times harder than it would be if this happened over summer or last year. The only upsides are that I've not actually been expelled slash suspended, so I won't need to explain this to anyone. The university seems fine to just let me go quietly, and another lecturer is writing me a reference. The agency has also said they will blacklist him, and they share this info with other services, so hopefully he won't be able to do this to anyone else, just Jesus Christ. Adding that I have had a free consultation with a lawyer and I will not be pursuing legal action. The best case scenario where I win, my name is cleared, and I can stay in this university, my profession will still be outed. I will be shunned by classmates and staff members alike, and my lecturer will continue to be a dick, and I'll be staying at a uni that have confirmed they will throw me under a bus to save a Weasley prick. Even the best case scenario will also earn me a black mark next to my name in academic circles.
Oh.
Damn.
What a douche.
Dude.
Yeah, no more naked maids for him.
Dude, the fact that she was looking out for him and she was trying to be professional and this guy couldn't fucking do it, that motherfucker is the actual asshole, bruh. Nah, for real, what the fuck? Fuck that guy, dude. There was definitely something deeper. He was definitely married. There was some type of, like, metric to it.
God. That sucks.
That is so shitty. Like, his ego getting in the way, and even if he thought she was gonna report him, like, there's no need for him to just, like, jump the gun and report her or be so scared that he can't even have that conversation himself. Like, he's supposed to be the grown-up in that situation. He's the professor.
Yeah.
And he's handling it so poorly.
Man.
Okay, our next story comes from Best of Redditor Updates, and I have heard about this one, and it is insane.
Strapped in.
I didn't get a job because I was a bully in high school.
Good.
What? What are her takes? This is what? Good? What the fuck are you talking about? Imagine your whole future is imagine your whole future is just null and void because you were a little meanie bobini in high school.
I've been trying to break into a niche industry, 30 to 40 jobs in a city with a population of 3 million, lingerie maid.
Got it.
No, I'm just kidding. I've been trying to break into a niche industry, 30 to 40 jobs in a city with a population of 3 million for a while now. I'm in my late 20s, and though it took me some time to decide what I wanted to do with my life, I have finished my degree and completed 2 internships. I'm working part-time in a related field and freelancing while searching for a full-time job in the niche industry. I'm willing to move for the right job, but I'd rather stay close to home. So I was stoked last summer when I got an interview for one of the very few entry-level jobs available in my city. I ultimately didn't get it, but the interview went well enough they encouraged me to apply the next time they had an opening. Then an acquaintance who works at the company called me up and asked if I wanted to get coffee. I figured she'd offer me tips on how to do better next time. Instead, she told me to give up on ever being hired there. Turns out, a girl I had gone to high school with is a real rock star at this company, and she threatened to resign when it looked like I was about to be offered a job. I hadn't realized it was her because her married name is different. I'll be honest, I wasn't a very nice person back then, and I probably was pretty awful to this girl. I looked my former classmate up, and her resume really is incredible. She graduated from college early and has won awards people who've worked in our industry twice as long haven't won. Her public-facing work is top-notch. I'm guessing she's the kind of employee a manager wants to keep around. My acquaintance's prediction appears to be true. I didn't get an interview for a new position at the company that would have been an even better fit than the one I'd interviewed for. When I asked why, I was told a staffer had raised some concerns and the company would not be moving forward with my candidacy. I'm heartbroken. I worked so hard for so long to get the training required for this type of work, and I don't think I deserve to be blacklisted for something I said when I was 17. I have my former classmate's work email. Should I beg for forgiveness? We need to know what she did, though.
Yeah. This is yet
There's a
another
whole
dilemma.
Facts. We gotta
layers to
know what
that.
she did.
Like, to be like, I will.
What
quit
did she
this job.
do?
Is it almost like a thing where when people are in high school, it's almost like, oh, this different life, and once you graduate, it's like, oh, did that even exist? But if you did something wrong to someone in high school in some manner of way, is it valuable even if it's like years later and you haven't seen them to like reach out to them and apologize? Just because like stuff from high school and like grade school like can really like live with people a long time. Like is it mean something to be like, hey, I remember I was really mean to you in high school and I just want you to know like I'm sorry.
I'd love
and I feel like just
Absolutely.
I'd
and
love that.
what sucks for her is had she done that years before or like whenever before this situation, then she could have been like, hey, I apologize to you. And like, but now she'll apologize in a way that's like, well, you just want the job.
Totally.
Right.
You're doing it now
Facts.
because it serves you.
She's fucked either way.
But the difference, because I've been in the acting industry for so long, like it's such a known thing of like, be careful, like don't burn bridges in this industry of any sort. Like even people who are far less successful than you, like if you're shitty to the PA, a couple years later, they are a producer suddenly. Like it's just the way this industry works, and like you should be nice to everyone because you never know who's going to be giving you work.
Totally.
Eventually. And also just don't be shitty ever because like the makeup artist is gonna talk to the art department and then art department's gonna be talking to that person. Like everyone knows in this industry who's a piece of shit.
Totally.
So she kind of screwed herself. She's now known in this industry already to be a piece of shit.
Right.
Update.
Right.
Thank God.
Here we go.
Good.
I know you didn't solicit an update, but I felt compelled to send one. I did delete the draft of an apology email I'd had sitting in my inbox for some time. I applied for one more job with Rockstar's company, and when I didn't hear back, I decided it was really and truly time to look elsewhere. I found a shop in a town 7 hours away that was desperate to hire someone for a paid 9-month fellowship that started in June because the candidate they'd originally extended an offer to found a full-time permanent position. I said goodbye to my boyfriend, packed up my car and 2 cats, and drove to a town I'd never been to. And I hated it. Not the work, I actually loved the work, but the town sucked. Being away from my boyfriend and my family sucked. Not being able to make friends sucked. Everyone else my age was married with 2 kids already. I called my boyfriend every night crying. He was supposed to come visit me over Labor Day, but canceled at the last minute because he had to work. Seeing how bummed I was, a coworker offered to swap shifts with me so I could make the trip home for the long weekend. I hopped into my car after work on Friday and drove all evening, arriving at the place I'd been sharing with my boyfriend before I moved, a little after 1 a.m. Well, you probably know where this was going. He was cheating on me. I was devastated. Spent the rest of the night sobbing on my sister's couch and drove back to where I was.
This is not where I thought it was gonna go. What the fuck is going on? What? Oh my God, the boyfriend was cheating on her with the girl that she bullied in high school. It's like M. Night Shyamalan. It's fucking all connected, dude. What the hell is going on? What the fuck is going on?
Was working the next morning, except I couldn't make myself get out of bed on Tuesday or Wednesday or Thursday. I was fired after my 3rd no-call, no-show. I tried to get the part-time job I'd had before moving for the fellowship back. They'd said come back anytime, but they'd found someone who was faster and more efficient than I'd been. Unable to afford a place on my own, I had to move back in with my parents. Not sure what else to do, I sent another desperate application to Rockstar's shop. In an effort to cheer me up, my sister and my friends took me out for a nice dinner for my birthday at the end of September. This is where it goes from bad to worse. I drank too much wine at dinner and got pretty weepy. I excused myself from the table to try and put myself together and ran into Rockstar and her husband celebrating their anniversary on the way to the bathroom. I ended up yelling/crying at her that she'd ruined my life. I was asked to leave and told I wasn't welcome back. That was Saturday night. I spent Sunday hungover in bed trying to figure out how to clean up the mess I made. On Monday morning, Rockstar's manager, the one hiring for the job I'd applied for, emailed me to let me know I'd been removed from the candidate pool. She advised me that I would not be considered for future positions at their shop or any other in their network. That afternoon, without mentioning me or what happened at the restaurant over the weekend, Rockstar tweeted a long thread about how she'd been bullied in high school and she wishes teenagers would realize that high school ends and it does not get better. She also tweeted out links to local mental health resources and the National Suicide Hotline that were liked/retweeted many, many times. So just to recap, no job, no boyfriend, no money, no hope of ever breaking into the industry I spent 5 years preparing to enter. It's hard to not feel like some of this is Rockstar's fault, especially given how she rubbed salt in the wound after my whole world had come crashing down.
Are you
What
kidding?
did you do to her?
Is there nothing on what she did or anything? No comments or anything?
Because she's scared. She's never going to put that out there. And
Yeah.
clearly, if this other girl...
God, so what she did is something worth hiding and not mentioning. And it's something that the girl that got bullied felt it was justifiable for this girl's life to be ruined now. She did some crazy shit, bro.
OP just went and pulled a full-on, like, A24 movie at her. Right. Sobbing and crying. It's like, all right, we've seen enough here. Like,
And also, it shows that maybe her character hasn't changed if she's still blaming Rockstar, which, by the way, I love that.
Love that.
She's blaming Rockstar for everything that's happening to her when it is simply completely her
Getting
fault.
belligerent on wine and sobbing at someone saying they've ruined their life. It's like,
this feels
Get a
like
grip.
This feels like the main character in an HBO show.
yeah.
Yeah.
Like, just like, okay, we hate you.
I at least thought the sobbing was going to be, I'm so sorry. Like, sobbing forgiveness.
No, being like, this is your fault. It's like,
Bye.
damn.
Irredeemable.
Oof. Oh, God.
Losing her boyfriend, that's shitty, and that sucks.
I know.
It has nothing to do with the rest of it.
Just
I didn't see him cheating on her, though. That was, that
sucks.
Yeah.
I mean, that sucks.
Sucks.
This all sucks. It sucks, but it's like, dude.
She sucked first.
Misery loves company,
It's
man.
just, all right, our next story comes from relationship advice. I, a 22-year-old man, am in medical school, and my fiance, a 22-year-old woman, freaked out after seeing a diagram of a vagina in my anatomy textbook. Together for 6 years, I don't know what to do. Some backstory, my fiance...
What the fuck is she freaking out about? And if you're together 6 years, you ain't seen... What's happening?
Say Annie and I have known each other since we were children and began dating junior year of high school. After high school, we both went to our state school, and I asked her to marry me junior year of undergrad. I have always dreamt of being a doctor, as has she. When the application process began, I applied to a good mix of MD, Doctor of Medicine, and DO, Doctor of Osteopathic Medicine, schools of varying degrees of selectivity, though all med schools are insanely selective. I had initially planned on continuing my education at my state institution because I did not want to take on too much debt. I did end up getting into my state school's med school, but I was also unexpectedly offered a spot at one of the best med schools in the country, top 3 in New England. We are from the West Coast. I would have been inclined to reject the offer had I not also qualified for a partial but still significant scholarship. It would still cost me more out of pocket than my state school would, but not significantly so, maybe a couple $1,000s more. Annie, despite pleas from myself, our parents, professors, advisors, etc., applied to only our state
We
school.
don't want
and
any
to
of this
some
info.
insanely
What the fuck
selected
happened?
Top 10 MD
Why is she
schools
mad at
that
pussy?
She, to be blunt, had no chance of getting into, given her admittedly mediocre grades and research experience.
Oh.
She was rejected from all the schools she applied to, including our state institution. Obviously, this crushed her, and I have tried my best to support her during a difficult time to help her remain optimistic. Our situation now is this. I am currently enrolled at the aforementioned New England Medical School, while Annie has decided to take a year off to strengthen her profile with research experience, physician shadowing, etc., and is currently living with me. There were no jobs open related to her undergrad major, political science, here or in our home state, that would be able to give her sufficient time for her research. So she is currently working part-time in the retail industry. I've tried my best to be completely supportive of her, as I know this is a difficult time for her, and I have never ever said, I told you so, or anything along those lines. This is what ended up happening on Friday night. I was home studying for a test on Monday when Annie came home from work. She came over to my desk and kissed me. I asked her how her day went, and she didn't respond, and suddenly looked very pissed off. After a few moments, she said, What the f is wrong with you? While pointing at an anatomical diagram of a vagina in my textbook, I was speechless. After regaining my composure, I managed to let out a surprised, "What do you mean? I'm studying." To which she said something along the lines of, "You know what the f I mean. Why the f are you looking at pictures of women's vaginas?" This was very strange because she knows I occasionally watch porn and has no problem with it. In fact, I know that she enjoys porn from time to time as well.
What?
I explained to her that I have to take anatomy in medical school, but she wasn't having it. She took my textbook and stormed off to our bedroom and locked the door. I could hear her crying and I kept apologizing. After a few minutes, she opened.
Why is he apologizing? I'm sorry for learning about pussy. I'm sorry. What happened again? What the fuck? What the fuck is getting? What the hell's going on?
The door and threw
What?
her engagement ring at me before slamming it shut again to continue crying. I continued apologizing, but she did not respond at all. I spent the rest of the night on the couch. Saturday morning, she wasn't home. I checked my phone and there was a text from her saying that she was staying with a friend and that she was done with us unless I dropped out of medical school and found another job because, and this is an honest to God text from her, she doesn't want me ogling at vaginas like a fucking pervert. This is completely out of character for her. She has always been level-headed and reasonable and has no history of mental illness or anything like that. I am not a stupid person and I know that this has way more to do than a picture of a fucking vagina in an anatomy textbook, but I have no idea what to do right now. She has stopped responding to texts and won't pick up her phone. I spoke to the friend she's staying with who basically called me a fucking asshole and said that Annie is crying and getting drunk and that neither of them want me coming over to speak with her. Her parents passed when we were young children and she doesn't have any siblings or much other family. I have no idea what to do anymore. I love her more than anything, but there is absolutely no way I'm dropping out of medical school for her. And I would rather we break up than I bend to her completely unreasonable demands. But I am very concerned for her mental health right now and need any advice I can get.
Okay, well, her mental health is not your responsibility. It's definitely about her feeling inadequate.
It sounds
Yeah.
like this is built up for a long time and it
For
just
sure.
blew up there.
Yeah. Because what she is describing without any other context is completely unreasonable. Like
Yeah.
getting jealous over an anatomical vagina when your boyfriend is in medical school.
It sounds like a sketch.
Right.
It
Yeah.
sounds like a joke.
Right.
Like, what are you
Exactly.
looking at? It's
Right.
like the things that they have up in doctor's offices.
No, like Queen, he's
Right, it
gonna
has,
look
like,
at
the-
so many vaginas in the doctor's office.
Yeah.
Like, how are you gonna deal with that? You
Right.
know?
Yeah.
It's absolutely
No, it's like,
That's not the point, Arasha. What the fuck are you talking about? What the fuck are you talking about? Like, Wayne, he got so much pussy. Like, he's a doctor. All doctors look at pussy. Anytime I have like a sinus infection, the doctor's like, "Show me your pussy. Let me see." What the fuck are you saying?
I also hate the friend being like, yeah, she's so upset and she's getting drunk. It's like, I'm also triggered. It's like, okay, get drunk then.
yeah,
Right.
it sounds like some.
Why, like, stop freaking out.
yeah.
It sounds like some childish behavior.
Yeah.
Absolutely. We gasped at she's staying with a friend. Like over all of
Oh,
that.
Yeah.
Come
Yeah,
on.
it's and here's the thing: they're about to go into either moving across the country or a long distance relationship. This isn't going to last.
And the less time you spend alone, the less you have an individual identity.
Yeah.
So it's like her whole life is tied to being
Him.
with him, doing the thing. And so like now that that's challenged, it's like, who the am I?
Same with OP too. Like
True.
he might also have, if this wasn't a relationship that he's practically been in his whole life,
Right.
he might have the tools to be able to recognize and be like, oh, this is probably not going to work. Instead of being more at odds of like, I love her so much. Like, of course you do. That's kind of all you've ever known.
Right.
Let me read some comments here.
Okay.
Underlying cause, she is feeling insecure because you got into medical school and she did not. Therefore, she feels bad about herself and your success is rubbing salt in the wound. Regardless of whether or not you mean to, it is. Also, I am taking you at your word that she has previously been a reasonable person and has had no prior issues with porn or sexuality. Someone else said, whatever you do, do not drop out of med school for her. If she can't handle diagrams of vaginas in a textbook, how is she going to handle your work when you become a doctor? You'll be looking at all sorts of fun body parts. If I were you, I'd break up with her. The fact she's demanding you to drop out of school is really controlling and manipulative. If she doesn't come around and stop acting like a child, then it's time to call it quits. Lastly, someone said, there's obviously something else up and she's manufacturing distance. My gut reaction would be she's cheating and she's lied to her friends about you to enable them to accept this. Take a guess why they mysteriously don't want you to go to her friends despite all of the upset. She now know, like, I think she sees, oh shit, he's moving on. and she's sabotaging it.
Yep.
Right.
It's like, I'm just gonna blow up
Just
this
blow it up.
relationship.
And it maybe feels in her mind a little more logical to find this this like anatomy reason for her to be like, well, you have to drop out because of
I ain't never seen this dude make that face, bruh.
reason.
What? What? What does someone have to say for this to be the face you make, bro?
Update. I'll save you the trouble. She wasn't cheating, nor was she pregnant. Yesterday, I decided that enough was enough, and I headed over to where she was staying, intent on ending the relationship. When I got there, she was half drunk. What followed was a lot of screaming and cussing directed at me. I learned why she wanted me to drop out. It had nothing to do with textbook vaginas. When I was a sophomore, 2 of my friends dropped out of college to work on their tech startup full-time and invited me to come work with them. My undergrad degrees was in comp sci. I rejected the offer because I wanted to concentrate on my dream, becoming a doctor. Fortunately, their startup did very well, and last year they sold it to a large tech company for a very large sum of money, in the low 8 figures. I was thrilled for them. After they sold the company, both of them obviously had large lifestyle changes. One of them proposed to his girlfriend with a ridiculously fucking big diamond, and they are frequently vacationing in exotic locations with family and SOs. Apparently, their success and lifestyles made my girlfriend extremely jealous, and she came up with the vagina thing as a way for me to drop out of med school because she thinks that I can easily get a job making $150K a year at a bank so we wouldn't have to live like fucking refugees, and that I am a fucking idiot for not doing so. Still, I was confused. I asked her about our dreams of being doctors. Turns out
You're not gonna just be honest? Like, even if that's your thought process, how the fuck? How you not gonna be honest?
Make it bounce, throw me a bounce pass to the chest, make it swish, put it in the dish. Got a bad bitch, it's Sunny with the big dick. That shit long, beating on his chest like Kong.
this like anatomy reason for her to be like, well, you have to drop out because of
I ain't never seen this dude make that face, bruh.
reason.
What? What? What does someone have to say for this to be the face you make, bro?